Welcome to the Best Damn Podcast. This is your host, Jill Lagan, CEO of the Boulder City Chamber of Commerce. In each episode, we will highlight what makes Boulder City, home of the Hoover Dam, the ideal place to operate your small business, explore world-class tourism attractions, and discover why we are the perfect place to live and unwind. All right, we're tag teaming it today with Ragtown Tattoo and Chris Unger. Thank you so much, owner of Ragtown. And Scuba Steve Iwinski. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. You guys are pretty iconic here in this community and such an amazing opportunity to have a tattoo shop right here locally. They don't have to travel. You guys are phenomenal, super talented in your artistry and skill. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Of course, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So how many tattoo artists do you actually have at Ragtown?
4, including myself, yeah.
Very good. So it has, moving from the Marshall Plaza, your old location, to the historic district, did you gain space? Were you able to add more people?
Yes, but that wasn't the focal point. The original spot that I had was just me in a little private room.
Ah.
And I had really no intentions on hiring anybody. I didn't know how it was going to be received in Boulder.
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep it small for many reasons, economically, obviously, financially. But within the first year with Boulder's big hug, I was like, all right, this can go somewhere. So then I started looking for more space. And then at that time, I thought to myself, like, maybe I'll just find another artist, because managing tattooers is not fun.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Scuba Steve.
Managing,
I'm part of the reason for that.
It took me many years to find a few that I don't have to manage, but it took me many years to get there.
That's interesting. Because they're artists and they kind of live in that artsy-fartsy kind of world, right? And so controlling that and still running a business, because it is a full-on legitimate business that you have done some amazing things. One of the things in researching a little bit before, the amount of legalities that go into it, so the certifications and the different checks that you have to have. Share a little bit about what you have to do and who regulates it.
It's regulated certainly by the health department, because we're dealing with bloodborne pathogens and communicable diseases on an intimate level. And then, of course, all the city and county ordinances, variances, zoning, and all of those things. You got to be in a proper area. And, of course, you got to pay to play. And it can be laborious going through all those hoops, especially in setting everything up, because, the licensing with the county may be hinged on your licensing from the health district.
Yes.
And then at the same time, you got to show proper leases and insurance, and all of these things have to they're kind of fragmented. And then you got to get them somewhat in limbo, and then get them all together, and then slap them together.
Tie them all together.
Yeah, and then it's okay. Well, you're approved here and approved here, and it's definitely can be a task for sure.
A lesson learned. And you guys have the nobility of being the first tattoo shop in Boulder City.
That blew me away.
Isn't that crazy?
It is nuts. It totally, when I heard that from the lady at the city when she handed me my license,
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I think it's impressive.
I can't say that I intended on doing it, but it is certainly cool to put in your belt. We were the first.
Yeah,
sure.
That's quite the feather.
And it's great to have kind of taken it into my marketing as BC's original.
Yeah, I love that. So let's kind of go back to the history of the art of tattooing anyway. I think it's fascinating. So, we see it in different cultures, it represented different symbolism. And so as it has evolved, and it seems now it's so acceptable. Before, gentlemen that would have a professional job, they had to have long sleeve shirts on, so it covered everything. Nowadays, it is so acceptable. It is so just almost expected that everybody has one. So are you seeing that kind of that cultural change right here in Boulder City?
Absolutely. You want to take that one? It's good.
Yeah, I remember a time growing up out here where I was that weird tattooed kid, There was certain friends whose parents wouldn't allow me to come over to the house after a certain age just because of it. And now we have police officers, firefighters, doctors. There's all kinds of people that are more open to being tattooed. And it's cool to be making some headway, you know,
Yeah.
as far as society is concerned.
I agree, and especially because it is so artistic. Your skill set, I've seen so much of your work, and your skill set is just incredible. And how you visualize that and know how to put that, because it's permanent. It's
Yeah.
not like you're using chalk out on the sidewalk.
Can't wipe it away if you make a
Yeah,
mistake.
it's very
You gotta.
expensive and painful to remove.
Yeah, and I can imagine that you probably have connections with people when they want to do that. You probably know the perfect doctor or tattoo removal location.
Well, there's so many of them now, and so many of them are generic. You don't need much training to be able to remove a tattoo. And I know this because I contemplated at one point in time learning how to do it,
Oh,
because I was fixing so many older tattoos that people weren't happy with. And so I could easily buy a machine, they'll finance them, and there's an online course you can take.
oh, that sounds safe.
And the next thing, you're just burning people with light and taking their tattoos off. But to go back real quick, tattooing, to the original question, how old? And thousands of years, thousands. There's documented cases of Egyptian period where people, mummified people that had markings on their skin.
Yeah.
You can say it's as old as dirt, but as far as being taboo goes, it's no longer
No.
taboo. Everyone's got them. And now I think it's more so a case of the subject matter as to what's
Yes.
going to be taboo. You know, like if somebody's got something that's not so pretty
Or appropriate.
or appropriate.
Yeah. And we do see a lot of that. But yet nowadays, it's even okay to be expressive. They're just expressing themselves. They're just being who they are. And so
Almost too much.
I know in some ways that can be a concern, but I guess that you're just providing a service. You don't get to help them make that moral decision, do you?
Oh, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we hold the machine, and I don't have to do what you don't want or what you want done.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where being a tattooer, you're kind of the voice of reason a lot of times. Somebody will
Yeah.
bring you an idea and you have to really make sure, like, hey, this is for life. Are you sure you want
Right.
that forever, or is this just a cool trend right now?
Yeah, I can imagine there's plenty of cool trends going on
Oh, yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, we try to explain to people, look, these are trends right now, and when it's out of style, you can't take it to the thrift store and turn it in. It's there. And then you get to a certain stage where you've done it long enough to where you can make modifications that allow it to capture what the person wants, but at the same time keep it timeless and I don't know, appropriate or whatever.
So over time, has the equipment, the ink, has it all evolved? Is it getting better?
Go ahead.
Oh my God, so much. When I was in my apprenticeship, I had to learn how to build the needles. You had to clean out all of your tubes because they weren't single use. You had to learn how to tune multiple machines to do multiple different jobs. And nowadays you have little needle cartridges that you can just toss in a sharps bin afterwards. And
Wow.
my one machine I use on a daily basis, it does lining, shading, big lines, small ones, does everything. So they're more of instruments nowadays, we like to say, than,
Yeah.
actual equipment
Yeah.
for tattooing.
And so I would imagine that there's probably different levels too. So you have a high end, it's got to be expensive to keep all of that.
Considering normally what you're charging for a tattoo, a box comes with, say, 20 cartridges in it. It's like, I'm going to say I pay 30, 40 bucks, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we definitely make enough to pay for the supplies, but compared to what it used to be when you were building your own needles, yeah, the price has gone up significantly.
Yeah, building your own needles was a time-consuming process, but it's valuable knowledge, and the new crop of tattooers don't even understand what that is. As to where I like to consider myself mid-school. I'm not old school, but I was kind of taught by some old schoolers, and he had the same kind of experience, even though he's a little bit younger than I. But we were taught in those older ways.
Yeah.
And a lot of newer tattooers just don't even understand the functionality of what's going on. They don't understand the technology that goes into even making inks. Yeah, there's so much underneath that goes into tattooing on a scientific level, not just in the machinery or in the pigments, but also in dealing with skin,
Oh,
dealing with there's so many different facets that go into it.
and so is it harder if you're working or correcting somebody's previous one? Is it harder to work on that, or like scar tissue buildup or something like that? Is that a legitimate thing that you have to worry about?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not always more difficult, but it more times than not can be definitely more challenging.
And so I apologize, since I've never had like a real live tattoo. I've had my eyeliner tattooed on.
We're going to change that. That's real.
It
Still
is.
counts.
It still hurt. Yes,
I've never had a face tattoo, so I don't know. That's a different level for you.
It was intense. And I did come in and meet with the girl that you had at the old shop. Remember, she was doing it.
Oh yeah, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched her do one. Brian and I filmed it.
Okay.
One of our board members are like, okay, you're going to be our guinea pig. We want you to lie down here. We're going to film you getting your eyeliner tattooed. And she did great. She did fine through the entire thing. But afterwards, I'm like, I don't think I can do it again. Anyway, I'll eventually do it. But so what are the measures that they have to take after they leave? So how do you keep it sterile? How do you let it heal? What is that process?
I mean, we have a whole aftercare sheet we like to have people take with them or take a picture of when they leave. And to every person out there, there's some people who prefer to use, certain things on their tattoos that we'll recommend not to anymore, that are more old school. A while back, people would use lots of different petroleum products and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Vaseline.
And that was a big thing for a while. Aquaphor, things like. We recommend coconut oil to everybody just because it's more natural. It absorbs easier in the skin, along with all of the normal things you'll hear after getting a tattoo. Don't get it sunburned. Don't go swimming or in anything with dirty water. Or
Don't go mud wrestling.
exactly. Don't let
Oh,
your
yeah,
dog lick it.
that's one thing I have to worry about all the time. That's really cool. Okay, so yes, I'll be brave and I'll come in.
All right, you heard it.
It needs to be
You made
tiny.
It official. You made it official.
It has to be tiny, and it can't be in a spot that hurts the most. Like everybody talks about on that
It's not going to
ankle
hurt
bone.
more than your eyes, I can tell you that.
Okay, well, then maybe I can survive it.
I'm sure you could.
All right, I will be brave and I'll come try it. Do you have any funny personal experiences that have happened since you guys have been
Lord.
here in Boulder City? I'm sure there are plenty.
You're going to have to make me
I
think
mean,
of
this
a
is
few.
one of the questions I got stuck on because I was like sitting there just in contemplation. Man, which one do I choose? There's so many, like from crazy characters of people just wandering in and ask with crazy requests.
Have you ever had anybody go, nope, they're halfway through it, can't do it, I'm out, and they only have half a tattoo?
Yeah, so I had a kid once that wanted some lettering on his stomach.
Ooh.
And he was a young kid, and the stomach is notoriously painful. And I got about 1 inch of a line into his stomach on the very first letter. And he quit immediately and was like, I can't do this. And he was trying to be like a little tough kid. You could tell his persona, what he was trying to represent, all those things. And yeah, so that's definitely happened. He gave me $20 and just left.
And he's got a line.
Yeah, so I always wonder, and that happened really early in my career, like 23, 4 years ago. So I've always thought about that kid and wondered if he ever got it finished, but who knows? I never seen him again.
That would be crazy.
Scuba had this one lady, dude, the coyote lady.
Coyote lady.
The one that, so Scuba's tattooing this lady, and she's like uber spiritual person,
Okay.
but on a different level of chaos. I don't know the right word, but Scuba's tattooing her, and she starts going into these crazy chants.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I didn't know what you were saying. It's
Yeah,
so
now
bad.
you do. You can take it.
She just started making the weirdest noises and, yeah, chants, I guess you would call them, to where, as an artist, you're listening to this and you're like, it's clearly from pain, but there's nothing I can do for you at this point other than just let you do what you got to do. So we just kind of side-eye each other like, all right, let her
I
do
know,
that if it makes it better.
but the shop is full. There's bystanders in there. There's people waiting, and she's going off. And I'm like, I never associated it was like from pain. I just thought she was in some sort of weird mindset of trying to achieve enlightenment or something like that. And I was like, and I'm looking at Scoob, and he's looking at me, and I'm just like, it was really awkward. It was like really awkward.
That is funny.
And I
But
didn't
at the
disturb
end-
her either.
What's that?
And I wasn't going to disturb it either. Like,
Yeah,
so
none of us disturbed. Like, we just kind of was like, man, is she having is she
Out of body
possessed?
moment.
Yeah, what's going on here? It was
Her
nutty, man.
head started spinning, you would have been a little more concerned. So that kind of takes us to a little bit more of that culture of the almost addictive state. I've heard so many people say that it is almost addictive. Once you have it, you need more. And so is there a point where it's too much? Or is it a point where it's almost mentally detrimental? Because if they just keep needing more and it's addictive, I'm not sure that's a great place to be.
No, definitely not. That's when you start to see the people that actually start to make mistakes because they're just so interested in being in the shop and collecting something new that they don't think about it too much. Lots of people just find something on the internet and they're like, hey, this is cool. I want something like that, when they haven't thought about it at all. But yeah, addicting for sure. I've had clients that have come in every single Friday just to get one new little tiny thing added to them. And no matter how many times you add something new, all they see is the empty space that's left. So as soon as they go home, they're like, well, how do I fill that now?
Oh, they're trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And I've had clients come in with bigger projects, with regular sessions, and literally come in, get in the chair, I'll start working on them, and 3 hours later, they have indulged so much information personally, and even to the point of tears. And then it's done, and they pay me, and they walk out and never even look at what I did.
It's almost like you're more of a therapist.
100%
yes.
therapy, absolutely. Wow. But it's more so on many levels because it's also the physical therapy. I think let's face it, in the modern age, everything's excessive. It's a challenge to be simple and minimalist because we're just inundated with everything all the time, whether it be information or consumer goods or whatever it is, goals, like all of these things. And there's like this, I don't know, subliminal drive to just want more all the time. I don't even realize why, and is it needed? Is it truly needed? And so when you see people that are just completely covered, and I've been in this business for 25 years and watched people take it way too far and just go, what? There's something, we're all tattooed pretty heavily, but some people, there's no boundaries. They just keep going. And that to me screams like, hey, look at me. Look at me. There's something deeper going on for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Because I would imagine for most people that just get the single or 2 or 3 tattoos, there's deeper meaning to it. But I feel like that person, I guess that addictive state, they're just literally filling a hole.
Yep, totally.
Yeah,
absolutely. Whether it be some sort of deep family issues or traumatic issues, or some people have I've noticed this too, some people, the sadistic quality of liking pain.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, you and I have talked about my nephew before, Ink Master, and I'm like, I'm telling you, somebody's enjoying hanging from a ring in his back.
Hooks, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's intense.
A little tough. That one's a tough one to even watch. I'm just so impressed because the skill sets that you guys have are just incredible. Have you ever practiced your art off body and on paper or canvas or anything like that?
Yeah, everything. I mean, most of us in the shop have some other form of artistic outlet, whether it's painting, drawing, working with wood, metal, all sorts of different things.
That's very cool.
My whole life has been fabricating something. Absolutely. But yeah, I think you find that most artists have a deep desire to just, I don't know, make something happen. And I know in my case, it was always, I didn't grow up poor, but I didn't grow up privileged either. And you had to be resourceful. And you just kind of learn how to do things on your own, and the desire to you get inspired by seeing something and you're like, oh, that would be fun, and just go for it. And
I
then,
love that.
And then I think the worst thing that anyone can do, and I think, like, I don't consider myself more of an artist than any other human on the planet because I understand that art is simply a tool. I've just chosen to utilize it in a way that allows me to earn my living. But a lot of people will identify as that thing, like that's who they are. That's not necessarily my style. And there's a great amount of fear of failure in everything, and the majority of people are afraid to let themselves be creative because the fear dominates them. Fear of what someone's going to think, fear of failure, fear is the ultimate enslaver of all things, in my opinion.
I agree.
So like the majority of people, they say to themselves, I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Well, nonsense. That's complete nonsense. And I always use the analogy, like at one point in time, you didn't know how to write the alphabet.
That's true.
And now you do. And if you did it every day, you could get really pretty with it and ornate with it. And so it's just let go of the fear and go for it.
Well, my stick figure people will eventually turn into something beautiful.
They will.
It's going to take me a long time
Which
at this point.
Several stick figures tattooed on me, by the way.
Oh, that is awesome. Maybe that's what I'll get.
My daughter, I made her do this one on Father's Day a couple of years ago.
So your kids are into the same thing?
No. I mean,
No.
they receive them, but they don't have any desire to do them.
That's interesting. And so are they artistic, though?
Oh, yeah. I have one son that's all-in musician, producer.
Wow.
He lives that life. That's all he does.
That's cool.
My other son, he's very creative, but definitely more on a hands-on. He's really into artisanal woodworking and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And my daughter's a teen right now. She used to be creative, but she's in that space where it's no longer relevant. Scuba, though, like his son, go for it. He's always making cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one nowadays to get him to actually want to do anything artistic with me.
How old is he?
He's 9.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Yeah.
growing up around the tattoo shop and me painting all the time and always being creative somehow, he doesn't realize how good he is at it. So he's almost a little jaded to it in a way, too.
Oh, interesting.
He's so sick of, like, I don't want to paint, Dad. Let's go on a bike ride. Like, all right, I guess we can, but as long as we do something else later that works your mind, too.
Oh, there you go.
But he's, very creative. Some of the paintings he's done, I had a few hanging up in the shop for a while, and
Oh,
people would
neat.
come in and compliment the rough style of it, and I'm like, that's actually not mine, that's my son's, but I'll tell him you said so.
That's pretty cool, though. I think that's awesome. I'm so glad you guys share your talents, though. That, it's like you said, I think everybody does have some skill set, some talent, some artistic ability. They just haven't developed it yet, or
Yeah.
it's not in their time, right? So everybody has a season, everybody has a time, and maybe they just haven't gotten there yet. So let's learn a little bit more about each of you guys. So, Chris, what was your first job?
First, well, if we're going way back, it's definitely a paper boy, but mowing lawns and stuff like that. But real official job, I was a janitor at an old folks retirement community.
Did you have a big ring of keys?
No, I had a couple keys, but
Then you weren't a true janitor if you
I
had a
know.
ring of keys.
I wasn't. I think I was like 15 years old.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that
That's
was
awesome.
I just, cleaned up after old folks on a regular basis.
They'll probably touch a lot of compassion, a lot of patience.
Definitely a lot of patience. And yeah, it definitely show you some things about human behavior
Yeah.
that you didn't know existed.
Growing old is not easy. That is for sure. All right. Scuba Steve, what was your first job?
Tony's Pizza here in Boulder.
Oh, imagine that. I think
this mine?
every child, yes it is.
How many
Every
people do you
child
know?
did. Yeah. That is awesome. If in my generation, that Tony's was your generation. My generation was back in the time there was where the Southwest Diner moved from. Remember the
Okay.
it used to be the drive-through. It
Where
was
it's got
called
the-
Frosty Freeze.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, Frosty Freeze is where all the kids worked.
Yeah,
But
see,
you
that
grew
was-
up here too?
Yep, born and raised.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, family's been here since 47.
That's incredible.
So yeah, multiple generations. And Lex and Scuba, did you graduate with Lex, right?
I was 2009. I believe she was a year behind me.
Got it. Very good. And what is something that people may not know about you, Scuba Steve?
Oh, that is a very good question. I mean, there's
There's
countless
a lot.
things people don't know. Yeah, there's a lot I keep down deep. Mainly not just my love for art and everything like that, but also anything automotive, anything that has an engine and explosions that can run. I'm a car guy through and through. I got into motorcycles at a certain point, and building anything mechanical, I would say, is probably my second thing next to tattooing that I'm just completely obsessed with.
That's awesome. I do remember you had a motorcycle that you rode back and forth to flight lines
Yep.
when you worked for Bryna.
Yep, still got it. It's in storage next to all my other cars.
Well, that is awesome. And is that where you got the nickname Scuba?
No, my great grandfather started calling me it when I was a young kid. over the years, I had very few friends that did. And then right around the time I started at Tony's was when it just really took off for some reason. Someone there said, hey, have you ever been called this? And I told them, yeah, kind of my whole life. And then every single person there called me that.
That's funny.
And eventually all my friends.
I just figured you got it at Ziplines because it seemed like everybody there had a nickname.
Oh, no, it was well established by that point. I think that's how I
funny.
introduced myself when I did the interview.
That's awesome. That'll get you a job for sure.
Yeah, it worked. I didn't have to wait for all of them to come up with something stupid like some of the other people there.
There you go. You preset your own name.
Yep.
That is awesome. I
Good
love
tactic.
that. And so, Chris, what's something people don't know about you?
Well, I grew up in a town that makes Boulder look like a metropolis. Literally 800 people
Wow. What was this?
in Southern California on the Salton Sea,
Oh,
out in the desert.
yes.
Yeah, really small town called Bombay Beach. My grandparents vacationed out there in the 70s, and we all lived in the LA area at the time. And we were going out there every week, and they ended up retiring and buying a little bar and grill out there. There was only one. Actually, there was two, but they bought the one, and my parents were going out there every weekend, and me and my sister going along with. My parents would help them in the bar. My dad would help my grandpa in the bar. My mom would help my grandmother in the kitchen.
Oh, cool.
And I would just run amok. I had friends out there. We had dirt bikes, and I would just run amok in the desert. And then shortly after that, parents got divorced. Mom went out there, and we went. My sister and I went with. So mostly just grew up out there in the,
That's
middle
awesome.
north. Yeah, it was people see it now and they hear about it, and they're just like, wow, you grew up in that place? Because it's in a state of destitute now. But back then in the 70s and 80s, it was just this wonderful place to grow up of just pure freedom.
You know, that's interesting that you see it through that lens, right? Because I am the one that saw it through the lens of us taking side-by-sides out there, taking our kids and going to the sea area, Salton Sea area,
Yeah.
and there's baby dolls crusted over with dust just
Yeah.
laying there next to a swing set, and it just looks so eerie
Yeah.
and creepy that I was like, oh, I just want to get out of here. I got a negative vibe here.
Yeah.
And so I saw it differently. I think it's interesting that you saw it when it was thriving.
Yeah, it was thriving. Like back in the 60s, mid 60s into the early 70s, there was a concerted effort to create this French Riviera on the Salton Sea. And all of the folks from Hollywood and LA would vacation out there.
Wow.
Palm Springs and the entire
Yeah.
area. And that's the way it was going into the 80s. There was these little resort towns, kind of like on the river where you have resort towns.
Right.
And that's what folks would do. They would come out there and just vacation and recreate and have a good old time. And then the sea just became the salt saturations in the sea became so extreme that all the fish were dying,
Yeah.
and they were washing up onto the shores, and that obviously changed people's desire to want to camp out and hang out on the shores or even buy places out there. That in turn affected my grandparents' business as well, and because we relied so much on vacationers.
So Mother Nature took its course.
Yeah, and then so the migratory birds stopped going there, and next thing you know, it just slowly died out the way it went, and it's not really recovered.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was there, but it did not seem in the recovery mode when I was there.
No, when's the last time you were there?
It's been about 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's the same.
Wow.
If not worse. And
Well,
there's actually ways that they could improve it and clean it, but from what I hear and what I've read, California doesn't want to put
The effort
the
into it.
resources into it. Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite questions because you really get to know people. What book are you reading right now, Chris?
Several, but my favorite, I'm reading one right now called The Secret Teachings of All Ages.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, by Manly P. Hall.
Sounds kind of deep.
It can be, yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
very enlightening and scary at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
sometimes those are good. And then sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't read that.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Scuba Steve, what are you reading?
Well, besides the owner's manual to my car, I don't do a whole lot of reading as far as fantasy stories. And most things I read are like educational how-tos and whatnot.
Yeah.
Lots of Goosebumps with my boy.
Oh, that's sweet.
If I ever do read any novel type things, usually it's like a Stephen King, Dean Koontz type of book. Something with a little bit of
Yeah.
fright to it to keep you on your seat.
You're into that. Interesting. I think that speaks volumes. That's great. I appreciate you guys sharing that kind of stuff. All right, so here's the next question. What's something your mom or dad taught you that you still have as a life lesson you live today?
Just always be the best person you can be, and at whatever you're doing. No matter what you're doing, try as hard as you can, and even if you fail, hey, you learned something.
That's right. I think some of the best lessons are learned from failure.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you. I'm glad your mom and dad taught you so well.
They
How
tried.
yeah, they tried. They did a pretty good job. And Chris, what about your mom and dad?
Well, immediately, it's my mom said the more you make, the more you spend. And then my dad said the more you do, the more they expect. And that's always kind of stuck with me. And it's a constant challenge in many ways.
I truly am challenged with both of those statements.
Yep.
Yeah, it does. It seems like the more you make, you just have more things you want.
Yeah.
So then you got to make more. So then you want more. And so back to a statement that you said earlier in the interview, the challenge is to be a minimalist and to live with just being okay with who and what you are and not needing the excess.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that is a lesson I struggle with. Just ask my husband.
It's a constant effort in my life, because
Yeah.
it's like now I'm in a space where it's more easy. It's easier to obtain many things that I just simply don't need. But I want them, but I don't need them. So I have made progress with it.
That is great. And then the other statement that from your dad, the more you do, the more people expect. We also don't want to live with mediocrity. So you don't want to just not do anything, so there is no expectation level. But you also have to learn to manage that expectation, manage your need for overachievement, right? So that one's like a mixed bag.
Well, for me, that one's so it's okay. I view everything as energy, and it's okay. Do I want to put this energy into that? Does it serve the entirety the way it should, or is it not that? You know what I mean? So it also teaches me to be selective about where I want to put my energy, and is it for the greater good? Is it righteous, or is it because this person's just trying to manipulate?
Yeah, I love it. Great mindset. Thanks for your words of wisdom. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys both being here. Like I said, your talents are incredible. Thank you for sharing those with us, sharing your information today. And this is going to be a great episode. Can't wait for it to air. And for the first person to say, okay, what tattoo are you getting? Because I'm sure somebody will actually ask that, probably my husband or my kids. But you guys are awesome, and I would only do it with you, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you as well. I do want to just quickly add, too, that Ragtown just passed 10 years.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
10 years.
That is right. I forgot
intense.
about that. And so before Ragtown, you were at Poker's?
Yeah, I own a shop in Vegas called Bookers.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me that a long time ago. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You have some lasting power now.
Yeah, I mean, made it a decade. That's an achievement.
Did great. Well, a lot of achievements.
But I didn't do it alone.
And so thanks to all of your artists that are there. And what are the names of your other two?
And then there's Cornfed, who's a legend in the game. He's been around for many years and actually he was implemental in getting things legalized in Clark County back in the early 90s.
Wow.
When they didn't really know what to do with tattooers as far as regulation goes.
Wow.
Which is a good thing, but at the same time I give them fault too, because now they watch a little too closely sometimes.
Oh, too bad.
And then there's Jacqueline Grett, our resident lady tattooer with impeccable technique. And
does she do permanent makeup?
No. We all have the ability to do permanent makeup. It's just not something that we, advertise.
Exactly. I tell people all the time, you don't want me doing your eyebrows. I have no idea what's going on with a good-looking eyebrow. So go with somebody else with that.
You walk away looking inquisitive all the time.
Unless you want to look like Bert and Ernie, go somewhere
Or
else.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Unibrow.
I'll skip that. Thanks. I'm not a selling tactic there. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a
Thanks,
pleasure, and can't wait to come in and see you.
All righty.
Right on. Thanks for having us.
This episode of the Best Damn Podcast has been a production of the Boulder City Chamber of Commerce. Please check out all the links and social media handles on our website as well at bouldercitychamber.com. You can find the Best Damn Podcast on all your favorite podcast directories. Like us and share on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, discover, explore, and unwind in Boulder City.